Welcome back to another segment of Daytime Corks and Spirits presented by Georgetown Square Wine and Liquor. Steve, we're back in your store and you brought someone in today.
Yes, thank you, Chelsea. Today we have a very special guest. This is Desmond Echeverrier. He's a master sommelier and also owner of this wines that he's going to be telling us about.
Alrighty, Des. Why don't you first start off about giving us a little history about you and the company you started?
Sure. So I started off in the restaurant business, and at the age of 14, I was washing dishes and bussing tables, and I worked for a Sicilian restaurateur who kind of took me under his wing and taught me how to make pizzas and pastas, and had me closing up the place when I was about 17. And one night, he took me under his wing and he came by and said, try these wines, and just fell in love with wine from a very, very early age. I knew, that I wanted to be a sommelier, and then when I, got more into the wine business, I had the dream of eventually moving to Napa Valley. So about a decade ago, I made my way to Napa Valley, worked at a pretty prestigious restaurant there, and then kind of parlayed that into working with a lot of small family-owned vintners. And so now Scale Wine Group is a portfolio of roughly 30 wine brands that are all family-owned, really authentic wines, and all boutique wines of the top level of quality, but wines that really have a lot of great character and offer some great value as well.
I love that you said that Western New Yorkers are all about supporting family-owned businesses. Yes. So you brought in a couple of wines that are part of your portfolio. Can you tell us about them?
Yeah, so starting off, we have the Tate Sauvignon Blanc. So this is a husband and wife team, David and Suzanne Tate, who have become great friends as well. Our kids go to school together, but David is an amazing winemaker, originally from Canada. He was making the wines at Ridge Vineyards in the Santa Cruz Mountains for a number of years, and now is producing all single vineyard wines in the Napa Valley. A really elegant style of Sauvignon Blanc. Sometimes Sauvignon Blanc can be a little bit too, tart or too green. This really threads the needle between, really luscious citrus fruit and stone fruit, but it doesn't finish very sweet. It still finishes quite dry and balanced. So it really is perfect for seafood or a lot of different pairings. The next wine we have is the Eden Rift Chardonnay. Now Eden Rift is an extraordinary property just about an hour and a half south of San Francisco, and it is a vineyard that has a 170-year history.
Wow.
It's one of the very first vineyards ever planted in California back in 1849, and it's really special because it's one of the few enclaves of all limestone soil along the California coast. Now, most of California is, especially along the coastline, is all covered with volcanic soil, and it's right along the San Andreas Fault. This actually is a cool area, ideal for lighter skin varieties like Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, but it also has really beautiful limestone soil, which gives a lot of mineral character and brightness to the wine.
In comparison to
Chardonnay.
In comparison to like a Sonoma Chard.
Yeah, sometimes Sonoma Chardonnays, which can be extraordinary, they don't have that same kind of essence of earth and mineral like you would find in, for example, a white Burgundy.
Okay.
This is, certainly quite different than a white Burgundy, but it kind of has that same mineral quality, which is very rare to find in California.
Okay.
The Kanzler Pinot Noir that we have is actually coming from the heart of the Russian River Valley. Just outside the town of Sevastopol, the Kanzler family planted a vineyard in the mid-90s, and this has been the source for some of the greatest Pinot Noirs from the Russian River Valley, made by Costa Brown. And so for a couple of decades, Costa Brown has been sourcing some of their single vineyard wines and their best wines from, or best grapes, I should say, from Kanzler. And then Alex Kanzler, who was 12 when his parents actually bought the property, decided to go into winemaking, and the family decided to start making a tiny bit of wine under their own label. So they're still producing just really small quantities of absolutely beautiful, balanced Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley, while still providing Costa Brown with a lot of fruit as well from their vineyard. Maxim is a Pinot Noir coming from the Sonoma coast. This is actually made by one of my best friends and a phenomenal winemaker, Sam Kaplan.
Okay.
So Sam and Nancy Kaplan have named this wine brand after their two children, Max and Emma. And in Latin, Maxim means the best of the best.
Oh, okay.
Very small small
good.
quantities, maybe 200 cases of each wine produced, but we get a really great small allocation to get into the best restaurants and best wine shops.
I should advise the viewers that these types of wines, if you see them available, buy what you want because they're very hardly sourced. There's very limited production of these wines, so if you see it, you like it, buy it so that you have it. So your last two, expertly explained for us, please, to the viewers.
So the last two are Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet blends coming from the Napa Valley. So we have the Tierra Roja vineyard, Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a vineyard which is in the eastern part of Oakville, kind of perched in the sloped hillsides that have this beautiful iron-rich red soil, hence the name Tierra Roja, which of course in Spanish is red soil. And this is made by legendary vintner Tor Kenward. Tor's been a mentor of mine and really has produced great wines in the Napa Valley for the last 20 years under his own label. But previous to that, he was actually working for Beringer for many years and has been a contemporary of some of the great pioneers in the Napa Valley like Robert Mondavi and Andy Beckstoffer. And so it's really great to represent these wines in our portfolio. Really gorgeous Cabernet. And then we also have the Cervantes Blacktail. This is coming from Napa's last frontier known as Pope Valley. This is an area just to the east of St. Helena.
Yeah, familiar with
And so in Pope Valley, the Cervantes family have a 1,200-acre ranch. It's absolutely breathtaking. And they have 5 horses, they have 4 lakes on the property. You can go around in the ATVs and shoot skeet and go fly fishing. It's really like being at summer camp at their property.
And
Summer camp with wine.
Summer camp with wine, right? The best kind, and tequila, because they're from Mexico City. But this is an extraordinary red blend based on Cabernet, made by Andy Erickson. So I think one of the things that we try to really cultivate within our portfolio is working only with the best winemakers.
They take a lot of pride in what they make.
Well, in the same way that working with a great chef, you're pretty much guaranteed to ensure that everything that comes out of the kitchen is going to be at a certain level of quality. And it's the same way working with the best winemakers, because they won't put their name behind something that is not at the absolute top level in terms of quality.
Alrighty, and Steve, you brought us the best of the best. And viewers, if you would like to try any of this portfolio of wine, you can stop by Georgetown Square Wine and Liquor. Thanks so much for having us, Steve.
Yeah, Desmond, thank you very much for attending.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chelsea.
You can find these wines and more from our sponsors at Georgetown Square Wine and Liquor. Be sure to stop by their store or browse their selection by heading over to their website at gtownwine.com.